Do you want to hear what's going on? Let's talk about the trucking world today. We'll be back in a minute. Good morning. Yeah. Check, check. 1, 2. Hey, check. Man, sorry. It's this microphone is kind of acting up. Or maybe it's the headphones. So, I don't know. Anyways, good morning. Hope all is well. It's Monday, November 13th. The calendar says new moon, so that's cool if that's significant to anybody. Check. Hey, man, I wish this was lighter. Hold on. I got to hear more of me. All right. So, love the intro music. Thank you, Night Ranger. I appreciate that. What's up? I hope you guys and gals had a great weekend. Not a whole lot going on in my YouTube world other than, outside of trucking, there's a lot going on. But inside the trucking space, I think a lot of people are tripping right now. Let's see what the load ratio is up here. Cool. I've got everything set up. We're good to go. So, I don't know what else to say. Oh, so the name of the video today is Morning Coffee Live Hi. Right? So as you know, I've dabbled into the broker world, and I posted a load, and the email that I got this morning just says hi. That's it. Now, if this offends you, if my next set of words offends you, then you need to kind of look at that. I want to know, everybody that's in the chat that runs the spot market, when you email a broker about a load, do you have a form? Do you have a format? Do you have a set way of doing that? Do you, or you just, or do you just put in the city to city in the subject line and then a blank email, or an email that says hi, or an email that says what rate? I'm curious because there's a lot of aspects of running the spot market that a lot of people struggle with. Mainly you know the the difficulties that brokers will put drivers in with low cancellations or the volatility. You know, um, you have other difficulties outside just in the trucking realm, such as shops. The cost. Getting into a shop, getting things done in a timely manner. People parking in the fuel islands. You got all these different scenarios. And so you got those cards stacked against you, and then you're running the spot market, and you've got low cancellations, you've got rates going down, you've got yourself running in dead areas probably. So if these are your pains, then I feel you, because if you try to be professional in your emails and your phone conversations, then you're doing as many things right as possible, short of managing your own operation. But if all your emails look like the one that I just got, or you can't say 2 words in a sentence, or you can't have a clear conversation without being confrontational and negative, then you deserve what you get. It's as simple as that. My new tagline, it's as simple as that, because here's the thing. If you're able to run a successful business in trucking, I guarantee you that if you're struggling at all, it's because of external things that are beyond your control. But if you're not running a successful trucking operation, you need to figure out why. And if your emails start from like what I just got, and I can't put it on the screen because I'm not going to call anybody out, but I just it, other brokers told me it was going to be like this. I'm just, and even it takes a lot to surprise me. It takes a lot for me to go, wow, okay. And I've been doing that a lot here lately, as far as what's going on in the thing, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I hold myself to a higher standard. Or maybe this person is so burned out on talking to brokers that that's all they got left in them. Either way, it's not a path to success. And I get it. Sometimes it's I'm not a fast typer. I'm not a great typer. My wife can type, 1,000 words a second, but me, I'm like, yeah, you know? And so I get it. So knowing that weakness of mine, what I do is I have a text on my computer that says good morning or good afternoon, depending on what time of day. I am looking at load blank. Is this still available? If so, maybe we can help you out. And I have that to where, so all I got to do is go to the posting, click the email icon, copy and paste my phrase into the body, I type out the city and state and the date and maybe the ID number, load reference number. Put that in the subject line, copy that and insert it into the sentence that I've already created, hit send. That's a very simple action. It's a lot. It's a little bit more in depth than say, hi, or what rate. but it looks professional. So I'm reading Cheap for Y'all. We'll get to the comments here because so just oh man. Anyways, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. That hope is dwindling sometimes. That's what you get when you get a good dispatch service like myself. That's what I do. And now, is it frustrating? If I had to type that every single time, that would get tiring because again, I'm that dude, right? And even though I took a typing class in high school, I think I got a C in it. And yeah, that's a different story. Even as a guitar player, I'm like, just like whatever. I don't think I could ever play piano, but and it's frustrating because you send out 20 emails and maybe 3 will get back to you. But at the same on the same token, on the other side, if I get an email like that, I'm not replying either as a broker. So yeah, get your crap together, people. Because if you can't even formulate full sentences, you've got a world of hurt coming at you. So, oh, there was a place for the convoys, there was a place for the Ubers, and it's for those carriers right there. My name is Nobody. Good morning. Grafton, what's up? Stuart, what's up? CB, Mr. Charles, Elroy, Logistics, blessed morning, Steve, and everyone in the live. Randy, what's up? Good morning from Denver, Colorado. Is it snowing yet? Oh, the humanity. Hey now, says Ponzi. Ponzi, I miss the Dallas Truck Show and I miss hanging out with you. I miss the old Periscope days where you and Jeff would get in cooking contests and you would do impromptu musical concerts inside the trailer. I miss those days. Night Ranger loves the intro music. Thank you. Some people think it's a little bit too long. Some people think it's a little bit too heavy. Tito's and soda. Good morning, Snorelord from Atlanta. Pigtail, what's up? Good morning. Well, shoot, if you ain't first, you're last. Looks like I'm last this morning. Well, in subject line, I put the reference number and the city's picking up and delivering, and then I ask questions about the load. Yes. Maybe I need to do a separate video on how to properly formulate an email to the broker, since that's what a lot of them want to do. And I don't know, maybe that's something that's second nature that maybe isn't. It's second nature to me, second nature to Jerome, but not to, I don't know. Am I missing something here? Am I completely wrong? And it's to expect full sentences in an email. Am I missing something? I mean, are there dispatch services using 12-year-olds now? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, like 12-year-olds in India or something, I don't know. Truck with T-Bone, good morning. Grunt, good rate. Grunt is my go-to phone call opener. Falfa, good morning. Ponzi, don't chase, pick your spots. There you go. Reference number in the subject line with pick and drop cities and the email itself. I use a pre-wrote email. I copy and paste asking all the key questions, asking about details and load to start conversation. See, I do that too. I email this, says Chief Free Holler. Icure load. I can't even read that. I see. You would not be getting an email back. Oh, man. Good morning, Justin. chilling here in South Carolina, taking a 34, fixing my camera on the inside of my trailer today. Hope all is well, Snorelord. It's interesting that you have a camera inside the trailer. Awesome, Mrs. A. I needed to make someone laugh this morning. There you go. Reefer, what's up? Get your crap together. Yes. Actually, no. Don't get your crap together. In fact, keep putting one sentence emails out there. Don't even email brokers. Just hope for the best. Just sit at home or sit in your truck in the fuel island, hoping that a load will find you. Hoping that convoy, resurfaces, and do that instead. I'm an Uber carrier today, so what's that say about me? It says that you wanted to see the addresses and they had the best rate for the best moment. By the way, anyone have issues with Love's filters? I'm already having to replace my fuel water separator filter. I'm only halfway through my oil change cycle. Normally it lasts till oil change time. Well, Don, if you fuel at that Sap Brothers in Harrisonville, that might be part of it if you're fueling there. If you're not fueling there, because I know that's kind of your area, winter blend tends to do that. So I was constantly going through fuel filters on my truck. The guy that bought my truck got a nice set of like 3 sets of fuel filters because I kept, there was a time when there was a shortage of them. So I went to Kenworth and bought like 4 of each because my truck takes 2. And there was a couple of times where I had to change them out in the middle of between oil changes. So that is normal. And like some carriers, they'll do like a A1 and A2 service. Like they have a service that's the whole shebang, but then they have another service that's just fuel filters and lube. So something to keep in mind. So nothing wrong with putting some extra fuel filters. And during winter blend or during cold weather, especially the cold weather, you're going to go through filters a lot faster. So, but also maybe it's the brand of fuel filter you use in there. So that's just my 2 cents. That's worth that. So, what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah. Well, maybe I won't get into that. I'm on the fence. I'm going to put a challenge out there. Okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put a challenge out there. Let me grab a sip of coffee before we do that. This is going to ruffle some feathers. But first, Mr. Charles, well, communication is a lost art nowadays. Click and go, TikTok, 1 or 2 years of loyalty to a job before moving on. This is our reality. Wow, look at CB. Thank you. Head up, hammer down, speak clear sentences that communicate coherent thoughts. There you go. Thank you, CB. I appreciate that. You're very generous. You're always generous. In fact, I'm gonna leave that up for a minute. All right, so throughout the YouTube land, throughout the Facebook land, you have people that brag about how much they're making per mile, how much they're grossing per month, how much their guys, their contractors are grossing per month. Okay, we got the gross numbers. Anybody can go out, even with casual running, and gross before carriers cut 144,000 a year. That's 3,000 a week. Anybody can do that. Even running local, right? Not local, but home every weekend. But how many of you are profitable? That's the question I want to. I want to see people bragging about how profitable they are. And I guarantee you that nobody Well, no, let me rephrase that. I guarantee that a lot of people will not rise up to this challenge. And my challenge is this: show me how profitable you are if you're running the spot market. Now, if you're running hazmat tank or food grade or tank, or if you're doing something out of the spot market, I know how you're profitable, okay? But I want to know, how profitable are you in the spot market? I want to see true numbers, because there we can brag about rates all day. We can brag about, I make X amount per week all day long. We can do that. That's a very raw, that's a very beat your chest, puffy, thing to do. You can sit there, I can sit there and brag. Well, all my contractors that I dispatch, they make about $8,000 a week, and blah 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 blah. Okay, great. But what are they taking home? What are they netting? And are they profitable off that net? Now, I don't think anybody will rise to this challenge because no one knows their numbers. And this is why it's going to ruffle some feathers, because I think the majority of people running the spot market right now don't know their numbers. Because here's the reality, okay? Here is the reality that a lot of people are going to probably throw hate at me. The extremely high rates that we had in 21 and 22 was probably the worst thing that could have happened to everybody in the spot market. And these people said we were finally getting a fair wage for what we do. Think about that. That was the worst thing that could have possibly happened to us. Because what it did, here's, wife, if you're watching, mark this time down, please. I think I might be able to do that too as well. Well, anyways. Let's see here. Let's go back. Here's what it did. Number one, the rates became so well that anybody with the truck and trailer can make it, regardless of the cost of the truck and trailer. Number two, it added way more capacity. It added a lot of capacity to the current market, to that current market. And number three, that opened the door, because everybody was making such high rates. It opened the door for a lot of the megas and the people that have lower costs to come in and undercut everybody to keep that freight as it slowed down. And then it also said, hey, the state said we need to increase our tolls. The shop said we need to increase our labor hours. And with so many trucks flooding the market, now parts shortages became an issue. I mean, yeah, that was accelerated a little bit by the COVIDs, but the reality is that there was also, when you can't even keep trucks in stock, and the only parts that makes that, and what it did is, like, the manufacturers had to keep up with that demand, so their quality's gone to crap. Do you see the domino effect that's happened because of the high rates? And it's allowing everything that has happened in the last year, all the fraud and everything else, because now you have 100 people in this room that's supposed to only have about 20. Let's simplify this, right? You're in a room and you're making money, right? And there's 20 of you in there, and you're sharing the load. You're all happy, and but then the rates get so good, and the demand gets so high that, oh man, we need to add 100 more people in this. So now you got 120 people in this room. Now, every now and then a person will leave the room. That helps alleviate, but it's not enough. But there are people that are desperate. They don't want to leave the room, but they understand that there's more than 100, there's 120 people in this room. There's more than this room needs. Man, I'm making less and less and less. And so I need to become maybe not better at what I do, but maybe I need to do some fraud. Maybe I need to do some negative business practices. Maybe I need to be a shyster. Maybe I need to steal identities. Maybe I need to steal fuel. Maybe I need to sell fuel off my fuel card. There are company guys that do that all the time. Maybe I could hack their system. Maybe I can, how do I take out my competition? And so as rates drop, desperation kicks in, and all these people that overpaid for their equipment, all these people that had it so easy because you could throw a rock and make $1,000 a day in van, regardless of what part of the country you're in, those people are getting desperate, and it's like rats on a sinking ship. They're going to climb all over each other until there's one remaining left. And so if you look at, let me find a chart here. Okay, let me do this here. See if this pops up. There we go. All right. Let's remove this so everybody can see the screen. Thank you, CB, again. I appreciate that. This is DAT trend lines. You don't need the DAT board to see this chart. We'll even put this in the. We'll even put that in the chat there. Speaking of which, got 47 people in here. Thank you. All right. So now it's not showing as much here, but if you look at the up and down, let me see if I can do it this way. This might be better. Let's go to Sonar. I think this will be a better. Okay. This would be a better graph. Okay, yeah, this is better. Okay, so let me share screen here. Oops, wrong one. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at this photograph. This is outbound tender volume index, okay? Do you see this EKG looking thing, right? Now, notice where we're at here, okay? Way down, okay? the goal that shippers and customers want is they want to eliminate these spikes, the high and the low. They want to eliminate this. They want this to be a pretty even, predictable cost, right? Think about when you send an envelope, right? Stamps, you can buy the forever stamps, right? Because you know that the price will be good no matter what. And the post office seems to be raising the rates every so often, right, to keep up. But they don't like lower, right? They don't do like 1 month it's like $1 for a big package, and then the next month it's like $30 a package, right? It's pretty even. So the only fluctuation is weight and size. So if you're saying, let's say that you're shipping T-shirts out, you know exactly what to expect shipping cost wise. It's pretty even, and then they have flat rates. Right? So you always know what to expect. So when we were getting extremely good rates a couple of years ago or a year ago, the shippers were like, that kind of sucks. I'm going to go out of business if this continues. And the smart ones built warehouses, so they wouldn't be caught surprised by another COVID event. It's non-perishable. It can sit in a warehouse. Have some guy named George, with the taser, just watch the warehouse for a little bit, make sure nothing happens, and take in a truck or two, right? But they want to get rid of this. They want to get rid of these spikes. They want to know what to expect. And there are forces at play that are going to make sure that the customers get that. There are forces in play that are going to make sure that they never see the spikes of 2 years ago again. That's the reality. And so if you're waiting for the next spike up, it's not going to happen. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. Take this with a grain of salt. But just from a logistical, common sense standpoint, I do not, if I'm a retailer or a manufacturer, I don't want a fluctuation of rates, which is why Christmas rate comes earlier and earlier in the year. Another example of what I'm talking about. Christmas, Black Friday. How many are seeing Black Friday sales right now? A lot. Black Friday sales going on right now. Go to our website. They're trying to prevent the zombie bashing at the door on Friday morning after Thanksgiving. Retailers created that situation, and now they're trying to dig themselves out. They need to show in the black now, so they've started these Black Friday sales early for 2 reasons or 3 reasons. They want to see if they can get back in the black. Number 1. Number 2, it was cheaper to ship it, 3 months ago, 6 months ago than it is now. And 3, to prevent all the negative things that happen with these Black Friday rush sales, people camping out front, beating each other for TVs, all the cool things that makes America look great, right? I would not be surprised if you're starting to haul springtime stuff now, or at least in January, you'll start. That's just my opinion. I'm just looking at things from a 30,000 foot view. And so my challenge goes out there. If you're profitable now, then great. But I bet you can't prove it. And is it sustainable? Is what you're doing now sustainable? See, August, this is Van. August shows 208. September says 211. October says 209. And November says 207. What's December going to show? This is supposed to be the peak time. There was a time when I first entered the spot market, this was the peak time. September, October, November went up, not down. August is always kind of slow. Now, ignore these numbers. Ignore the actual number, but keep an eye on this trend. Reefer's kind of doing the same thing. Reefer is actually showing pretty good. I wish I had a couple of reefers in the fleet that I dispatch because they're actually doing pretty good right now. But I know in January that's going to change. And then flatbed, well, flatbed's being flatbed. And when you look at so spot load posts have gone up 9.5%. I've seen that. Van load the truck has gone up 8.9%. Van spot rates up 0.5% for the last week of October to early November. So this trend looks good. Reefer to load the truck, look at that, up 26%, which is why we were seeing $3 a mile Friday coming out of Washington. Reefer spot rates have gone up. Fuel prices are down. So this is a good looking trend, right? This was the last week. This is from October 30th to November 5th. Oh, from the 23rd to okay, let me rephrase that. This is from the last week of October to the first week of November. But for October to September, it's down 7.1%. For the year, from 22 to 23 in October, down 41%. These little bumps are not going to rescue your operation if you're on a thin margin right now. But most of you don't even know that you're on a thin margin. That's the point I'm getting at. Most of you were not prepared for this or this. Flatbed load the truck, down 48%. Reefer load the truck, down 42%. This is just one load board. The one load board that's got the majority of the freight. Now, here's the good news. Fuel's gone down 13% over the last year, so that's good. But how long is that going to last, right? So, yeah, these numbers look great, especially, Van looks, 8% more. And what's funny is I was one of those idiots that bought like a little bit of SHIB back when that was the thing on YouTube. Oh, everybody buy SHIB. And I bought $100 worth. Because I knew it was probably crap, and I had $100 to throw away. Well, throw away I did, because what's funny is I'm down to like $10 on that. But every now and then I get an email. Oh, SHIB went up 10%. I look and I've got $11. I mean, it's These numbers will not rescue your business. Now let's reefer load the truck 26%, going up. That means you got a better choice, right? That means you got a little bit, you can hold the line a little bit better on your rate. Instead of 500 loads to choose from, you might have 800 loads to choose from. Or it might be a little bit easier if you have a narrow running lane. So, but I challenge anybody that can come on my show and say, here's what I'm profiting. I'm actually, profitable, and it's sustainable profit. I want to know how. I would like to know, because I have a lot of people that call me that are at their wits' end, and I don't know how to help them other than tell them the same things that I tell everybody else. All it takes is one truck repair to take you out. All it takes is one month of being down because TA screwed up your truck, or any truck stop screwed up your truck. And granted, you can't. These are not black swan events. Look up black swan event. These things happen all the time. I know people that bought brand new trucks last year. Guess what? They have injector issues. All a warranty is an apology for knowing that their product is crap. That's all it is. Meanwhile, fuel companies are showing highest profits. The PACCAR is showing its highest profits. Your tax money's going to all different things that really don't help this country out. If you have a PACCAR, and you got to give the shop 20 grand, and then that puts you out of business, well, the shop still got your 20 grand. PACCAR still got your 20 grand. The bank still got your interest. The leasing company, if you got it through there, is just going to take the truck back, fix it because they have the resources, and give it to somebody else. That's the reality. And I challenge anybody to show me how profitable you are if you're running 100% spot market. I want to see what those numbers are, and I want to know what you're doing. If you got this little hidden secret, well, I've got this super secret, then that's great. I'll respect that. But the majority of you, let me rephrase that. The majority of people in the spot market can't even complete whole sentences in an email to get a rate that they probably can't sustain anyways. Gen C Truck and Morning. I think the fuel companies are watching your live shows because my local fuel place went down to $3.66 a gallon right after I complained on Friday. Spooky. I wish I had that kind of power, but I don't. They'd be like, man, really be cool if we can get $2 a gallon fuel again, But for diesel issues, we use AMSOIL all-in-one diesel boost in the winter and the injector clean in the summer months. We add it into our business model. That's good. That's smart. Just token, you sound like you've got your act together. That's great. You've recognized the fact that there's fuel issues, and cause your fuel's dirtier. I mean, the equipment's getting older, so but good on you. I'm struggling with the spot market, so I'm getting my hazmat endorsement to add to my arsenal. Elroy, you're going to find that there's not a whole lot of hazmat posted. TQL and Landstar are the main ones that do a lot of hazmat. So, once you get that hazmat endorsement, then I would contact the brokers that have it, and see what they got. Let them be your dispatcher. Mrs. A's got it. Thank you. Justin Axford, I got you. Someone say numbers. 18K average per month gross, profit of 3 to 5K a month. Yeah, nothing to write home about. Maybe I should make a video about this. This is after all expenses and pay me. That would be great. See, Don can do it. Don rose up to the challenge. Pam, what's up? My profit numbers are really low because I'm aggressively paying down debt. Well, there you go. See, but see, you're aware of it. You're aware of that, right? And at worst, if you can't be aggressive with the debt anymore, at least you got something to live off of, correct? My cost per day is $600, says Elroy. So what? So if you're making, so what do you average in a day? Because this is the stuff that people need to hear. Cost per day is 600. That's, for some that might be real high. For some that might be real low. It just depends on where you're at. Is that a sustainable number for you, for what you do, for the platform that you're on, in the areas that you run? There's no secret. There's no one simple formula. Justin, I got you, Snorelord. My truck costs me $1.04 to $1.10 a mile to run. That includes truck payment, insurance, ELD, maintenance, fund, fuel, and my pay/week. I own the truck and trailer 2019 Cascadia. Man, there you go. So, if you're averaging $1.80 all miles, then you're doing pretty good, right? Now, when you say maintenance, are you aggressive with that maintenance, number one? And number two, if that maintenance isn't used up, would that be something to replace the equipment if needed? That's something that a lot of people don't realize. You might have enough to, a person might have enough to do like oil changes and tires and stuff like that. But do you have enough to replace equipment when it comes time? And you run 10,000 miles a month, so that's good. That's not too hard. That's not too, that's not, that's a good number. I'm not going to lie. I give all the credit to DIY and Cash for teaching me how to get my costs down so low. I also pay myself less than I did as a company driver. That's the key right there, Justin. That's the thing. That's the thing that these high rates did a couple of years ago, was I can make more money in the spot market than I do as a company driver. And there was a time where that was true. But the majority of owner operators, especially if you're in the spot market, you have to recognize that you're not making as much as most company drivers now. And so that's where the home expenses kind of come in. For example, when I was a company driver, I think I was making 38 cents a mile. Oh, granted, this is like 7 years ago. Okay. And we didn't go out and buy a new car. You know why? Because we budgeted our household expenses to me making 2,200 miles a week, or 1,500 miles a week. And Mrs. A's in here; she might remember the number better. But it was an insanely low number. That way, anything above that was gravy, and we built up our savings pretty good. Because I don't think other than the truck breakdown or vacation, I never got less than 1,500 miles a week. But people buy a truck and they see these big numbers. They're like, oh wow, I've only got $1.20 a mile cost, but I'm making $4 a mile on miles. And so what do? They go out and buy new crap, not giving themselves a salary. Because if you give yourself a salary, you will stay within those means. That's the trick. So if you give yourself, say, if your salary is $50,000 a year, your home, your car, your RV, all that kind of stuff should, your payment should reflect that salary is sustainable, right? If I'm only making 38 cents a mile as a company driver, but I go out and buy a brand new Ford F-250 that's $110,000, man, that's I'm screwed if I ever lose my job. I'm screwed if I ever don't make enough money or enough miles. And that's what happened. In order to have a nice luxury item like that, and it's a liability, not an asset, I would have had to run 3,000 miles a week. Well, what if my company can't give me that? What if my truck can't give me that? What if the conditions don't allow me to have that? Then I've overextended myself. Just like in the housing crisis, what did people do? They went out and bought homes that they couldn't afford, and the banks knowingly did it. And any bank that loaned a person 150 grand for a $60,000 truck, they deserve what they get. But everybody wanted in on this gold rush. Everybody wanted in on these high rates. And that's why I say those highest rates were probably the worst thing that could have happened to us, because it screwed everything up. And if you're sitting at home waiting for your Amazon package of your trash bags, last thing you want to do is pay more for shipping. Cheap freight hauler, you understand. I done something that's against what the YouTube truckers did during the spike. I was offering long-term rates to shippers. That is how it is done. That is how it is done. You keep your costs low enough that's sustainable, and then go into these shippers and use those high rates to get in there. That's what the mega carriers did. But now they're going to be hurting. You know why? Because the shippers are aware of how cheap everything is right now, and they want their prices lower. They want their contracts lower. And that's where service has to kick in. Are they sustainable? Does no good to get $3 a mile out of a direct customer if they can't even survive, right? Rest Day Raccoon, good morning. Stuart the Hobby Trucker, good morning. Oh, wait, I already said good morning. Wait till February. Number one, shipper took me up on it. 2 Texas lanes she had trouble covering. I'm still getting that rate today. Good deal. Hi, says DIY. I'd rather you be an enabler instead of all this. Enablers have more friends also. Just saying. I've got a good group of friends, but nobody comes visits me. So there's that. My cost per day involves a strong antacid, duct tape, a shovel, and unicorn feed. DIY being a funny guy. And a recovery rock star. A dollar saved is a dollar saved. A dollar earned is 70 cents, right? Don't forget, recalls and field service campaigns had one that said it would take 25 hours labor, and 2 weeks later they had it done, had to order parts halfway through the job. Yes, that's what happened on my differential. Your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end, right? Number one, undercapitalized business typically fail. CB says, number one, undercapitalized businesses typically fail. 2, operating your truck as a business. 3, see number 1. Dang, Richmond, north of Richmond, right? True, but my point, there is usually more money to be made in what you save. Okay, so we're doing that debate. Their costs are too high, adapt, unfortunately. Next year is election year. I think fuel prices will be down most next year. I that tends to happen, right? Because if fuel prices are high, people get angry, and then they're gonna, unless it's going to be used as a political tool, right? So, 50-50 chance on that one. We say all or most spot market owner operators don't know their numbers. However, I have found if they own another business or formerly owned another business, they typically do. This is true. This is true. Good morning, Steve, CDN. Replay for me. Me and you are very similar, Justin. Very good. Mrs. A, yeah, I have no idea anymore what that number might have been. Oh, yeah, talking about the company driver stuff. 1,000-week maintenance fund. Oh, wow, that's aggressive. Very good. Very good. That puts you at $52,000 a year if you don't use it. Right? I mean, obviously, you're going to use some of it, right? But 52 grand is a good down payment for a good truck that keeps your truck payments down if you ever have to replace. Because look, you might be the best maintainer and your truck's paid off and you baby that truck and you're out there, cleaning it and stroking it on the weekends when you're home because you love it. But then, blam! Some guy that writes one-word sentences in their emails nails your truck, takes the hood out, totals your truck because they're going the wrong way on the off ramp. Now you got to buy a new truck, right? So, CDN says, Justin, congrats on your low cost, but don't you need to add to your expenses money each month for next truck or massive breakdown? So that's what that $1,000 a week is. So that is for maintenance, upgrade equipment, right? The money is in pickaxes, yes. But I deserve an F-250 and several crews a year, Snorelord. And when I realize I can't, I'm going to blame someone for my plight. Good morning, Shannon. But what happened to the pickaxe salesman after the gold dried up and the miners became farmers or factory workers? I don't see much difference. Everyone has to pivot eventually. This is true. Gary Bates, what's up? Mrs. A transition to buggy whips, right? Then fidget spinners, yes, fidget spinners. You got this. Oh man. And so a couple of people rose up to the challenge. Don, I know his numbers. And then Justin seems to be got it going on. And I was watching the Snyder Facebook page today, and there was a guy that says, does anybody have any advice for me? It was good that he went and asked for advice, but he was taking delivery of his truck. So a lot of these questions, the question was asked too late. So a lot of this advice, it will help that person, but you can't help someone's mindset. And I didn't get in on the discussion, but if someone personally asked me, hey, what do you think of Schneider Finance? I'm like, well, you got a $1,200 to $1,500 truck nut a note. What do you get paid as a company driver? Oh, about $1,200 a week. Okay, well, that's your new truck payment. Now what? do you have the gonads to figure that out so that's not a problem? Do you have the mindset? Do you want to be obsessed in this? Do you want to figure it out? Are you coachable? Are you teachable? And who's coaching you? Are they worth a darn? These are all things that have to be asked. Nashville to St. Louis drive-in. You know what, CB? That's a good idea. I got to stop talking about this crap. Can we all just agree that custard-filled donuts are gross? Yes, I agree with you 100%. Speaking of wrong way drivers, Joe Denny from the Black Smoke Matter group needs your prayers. Who taught you so well? You're like their perfect example to own a truck. Either your mentor or you should pass on your insight and understanding about trucking business. So let's go to CB's Nashville to St. Louis. Let's check that out. Find loads. Create new search. Nashville. Crashville. By the way, one of my most popular videos on the Snorelord OG channel, that's the smaller one, is Accident in Nashville. And all it was me in a traffic jam showing off letting the CB radio play. To Chicago, right? It's a good spot to be in. Chicago. Oh, St. Louis. Damn, I don't know how to read. All right, St. Louis. It ain't going to be pretty. It helps if I read and type. Okay. Apparently, I have to spell the word saint. See, I told you I can't type. My wife would have typed this and we'd be in the search by like 10 minutes ago. All right. So we'll do it for today and tomorrow because you may not find something you like today. So we'll hit apply. Hit search. Not much. See what the highest paying load is. 233 mile to go from Jeffersonville, Indiana, which is 160 miles away, to East Peoria, Illinois. They're at $739. $1.94, $1.73. Here's $3.21 a mile, but it's Indiana to Indiana. Let's take a look at this Lebanon to Wentzville. There's a good chance that Wentzville is going to be automotive. Picks up tomorrow, delivers Wednesday. Cargo Chief's got about $950. Oh, it's hazmat. There's your hazmat load there, Elroy. So yeah, more likely that is going to the. Oh no, it says hazmat no. Straps yes. Okay, so it's not hazmat. Tanker endorsed. But that puts you in a good market. St. Louis is a good market. Jackson to Bridgeton. Let's take a look at this. 120 miles away. Picks up today. 2-minute old posting, so this is probably still available. 42,000 pounds. Cargo Chief's got about 846. Rate Check's got it 671, so a little bit of room there in between. What's the weight on this? 42, so you're not going to get great fuel mileage. So let's take a look at the profit calculator. Total profit $1.26 a mile, 348.95 for the day. So if you're at $600 a day, this won't be a profitable load for you. So your best bet is this Lebanon to Wentzville. If you've got tanker endorsement. And if you're running the spot market without tank endorsement, what are you doing with your life? So there you go. Not much there, but there's a few. There's Cleveland to Paducah, Kentucky. 120, about 130, 140 mile deadhead on each end. So that probably wouldn't be very profitable. Doesn't pick up till 7 tonight. Delivers at 11:59 p.m., like almost midnight tomorrow. Or no, Wednesday. So yeah, this is not a good load. Unless you're going home to Paducah. So all right, let's take a look at load availability. And while we do that, we'll the OI says Justin is handsome and wealthy. CM Freiberger, thank you very much for the kind words. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I never surrounded myself with the right mentors. That's should you buy property in Missouri and do what with it? um, sub turn into a subdivision, get a parking lot, and have trucks pay you to park on their lot. What do you want to do with it? And where do you want to be? Would I buy it around St. Louis? No. South of St. Louis? No. Middle of nowhere, like central or north, or not north, but like northern Missouri, like north of 70. That might be cool. Turn into hunting land and lease out the hunting land to people. You can do that. Here's what you do, Gary. Buy 20 acres near me, and I'll pay you every year to let me hunt on it. How about that? This Nashville St. Louis rate check experiment is informative. The rate count I have for this lane is double what the low board shows. I got it from a broker who called us direct. There you go. There you go. The keyword was direct. So let's take a look at Van. See what the hot spots are. Oh, look at that. Washington and Oregon are now yellow. So things are cooling down a little bit. See, Arizona was green last week. This week it is not. So Southeast, though, woke up a little bit. I'm going to guess it's because of the ports. Ports may be a little bit busier right now. Let's take a look at reefer. Reefer should be looking pretty good. Yeah, look at all that green. It's all over the place. CB, I'm going to go back to your comment here. What I love about this low board is that you don't need an MC number to get on it, whereas DAT and truck stop you do. And so if you can look at the rates on here and survive on them, it's a great way to work out a business plan. And with all the YouTube information out there, all the Facebook information, all the true business owners that have put out great information in podcast and all that, there should be no black swan events other than something like COVID or a wartime situation. But even then, you can kind of that's the beauty of becoming an owner operator right now. Because if you've been paying attention for the last 5 years, you can take so many extremes into account on your business plan. And now one thing that's happening in the spot world is that the AI pricing is trying to level out those spikes. That's why I don't think we'll ever see the spikes that we did 2 years ago. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. Rates are going to come up a little bit, but it's going to be harder and harder to work the low boards. And one of the things I like about 123 is I'm not navigating with all these horrible brokers that don't even have, like, they're in all caps, not spelled right, all the fraud, the fraudulent brokers that post like the same load 84 times, and you look and your the credit check says denied or does not exist. I don't see that on this low board. So cheap freight hauler, Southeast is green, but I'm still struggling to get over $2 out. Yes. I mean, look, just because it's green doesn't account to good rates. What I found last week, especially on Friday, was that if you wanted to get $2 a mile out of the Southeast, you either had to go to New England or you had to go deeper into Florida. That was it. That's the only way you were breaking $2 a mile. If you wanted to break $1 a mile out of Florida, the only way that you could do it is if you went to the Northeast or you went to, well, that's it. No, Northeast, that's it. And because of some of the green out here, they're not paying to go into these states now. If you want to do like say Atlanta to Columbus, you're looking at $1.10. But if you want to do from Atlanta to say Vermont, it might be 210. And that's kind of where we're at. And so I noticed that in other areas, if you want to get really good money, you're going to the southeast. And so I'm looking at Samsara, and I noticed a lot of our drivers were in the southeast. They were chasing those rates. But then I've had a couple of drivers call very frustrated because of what they're seeing trying to get out. And then there was a lot of load cancellations on Friday for a couple of people. So that's how volatile things are right now. That's what you're looking at. So yeah, they're not paying $2 to come out at all, unless you're going into Jersey, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, or Miami. So, if you want to do North Carolina, Miami, Florida, great money, especially a good daily rate. But then you got to take in the fact the deadhead out of Miami, unless you're going to take that dollar mile to come out. And most people's mindsets won't do that. So it's hard to convince a guy, especially if they're struggling and stressed out, that maybe take that dollar mile for about 300 miles to get out of there. Especially when it's crappy shipper and it's 45,000 pounds, I would probably just deadhead myself, which is what one of the drivers I was talking to ended up doing. He just went up to Atlanta. I said, dude, go up to Atlanta and try your shot Monday morning. But he lost 2 days, I think, because of that. So CDN says, CB, you took more money than the rate mate shows. How dare you? Immediately call the broker to say they overpaid you. Disappointing you. You're making extra profit. I hope you know it's joking. A great payload is a great problem. Just know it may not happen on all loads, right? We had the same run and lost it. The broker called back 6 weeks later and was all but begging for us to do it again. It didn't blink an eye on quote. There you go. I seen a broker on DAT last week that called Truck Paper Inc. in all caps. It was called Truck Paper Inc. in all caps, a new MC number. I thought, yeah, buddy, I'm going to call on that load. That's a grand over the average. You see, and I never see that on the 123 low board. So everybody can make fun of the 123 low board all you want, but I've never seen anything like that on this low board. But yet, you see 500 loads out of an area on DAT, and maybe 100 of them are good. The rest are what you just described. I think I saw that. Cheap freight hauler. Dayton, Ohio to Midwest, dry man Wednesday. All right, so let's do that. Find loads. Create new search. Dayton. Now what we can do here is for USA, we can do, where's that? No, not the entire USA. You hit states. We can do Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kentucky. Apply. Search. Oh, I need to reset the date here. Edit search for Wednesday. For van. Here you go, Jerome. Look at that. Some good numbers there. So that's good. Let's see your highest paying load on the overall rate. Let's do that. Sort it by highest rate. I screwed up here. Let me do this. Let's do the highest rate per mile. first. Let's see where the short haul stuff is. Stuff that you can do in a day. Oh, 870 mile, $400 to go from Kentucky to Kentucky. Let's see. A lot of $500 and $600 days here. Some 350s, 550s. Here's one, 1100, New Haven, Indiana to Sykeston, Missouri. Now, on the surface, this might look good, but let's take a look at this. They're at 1100. Cargo Chief's got 1192. Rate checks at 907. Van, reefer, air ride 44.5. Wire rod, palletized. Here's the caveat though. Sykeston, Missouri is kind of a dead spot. You put you in the Cape Girardeau market, which depending on P&G's mood, may not get a whole lot out of there. So just know you'll have a little bit of deadhead after that. Kentucky to Indiana seems to be a decent lane. Huron, Ohio to Sioux City, Iowa, 210 a mile. So let's sort this by highest rate, see where the longest things are going. $1,800 to go to Hermantown, Minnesota, out of Chillicothe. Yeah, that Sioux City pops up. Cedar Falls, 201 a mile. Let's take a look at that one. Picks up at 1, delivers at 2 the next day. 623 miles. And you're going to lose an hour, I believe. 50,000 pounds. So there's something off about this feed ingredient. So you probably can't haul that. So I don't think that broker knows that you can't haul 50,000 in a regular standard sleeper truck. So buyer beware on that. Rest of these are $1.70, $1.80 a mile. There's like a few 900, like Indianapolis to Independence. This would be a good one. £5,000 palletized drum parts. So, I wonder if they mean like actual musical drums or so. But that'd be one I would do because I live in Missouri. So that's better than the heavy stuff that usually comes out of Indy. So yesterday was my 18th anniversary. I sincerely apologize to my wife for putting it through 18 years of me. Congratulations, DOI. Happy anniversary. So, all right. So let's take a look at flatbed. And then we're going to call it short because I got things I got to do. Flatbed Northwest is looking good. Arizona is all right. Minnesota is your go-to state on the Midwest, other than the usual standards. And the port states are doing well. So there you go. There's your market conditions. 48065 if you want to check out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Gives you 30 days free, and then you get all the premiums for $35 a month. That includes the load calculator. You could bid, message. You could do it'll do tolls. Got your profit calculator, your rate check. It'll store your documents. You know, all kinds of cool things. They even have a tool. Check this out. They even have a tool where, they even have a tool where you can get your own authority. They'll put you on a course so you can get your own authority, which I don't recommend doing right now because with the amount of fraud, the brokers trust no one. And the best time, look, if you're going to get your authority, know these challenges, right? One is know that only a few brokers are going to work with you. And so you're at mercy of their freight, their load boards. Number two, the best time to do it is January, because by the time you've got your 6 months tenure, that's when the freight starts picking up, versus the opposite. Some people get their authority in June or July, and then by the time that they got their 6 months, they're in the winter. A lot of brokers aren't working with you unless you got a year or you got so many inspections or both. And so your best bet is to call up TQL, call up CH Robinson, and download the Uber app, and just those are your dispatchers. That'll save you money on load boards, and you that helps insulate you from fraud. And if you got a good CH rep, they'll keep you moving. And you just got to survive that 3 to 6 month period. And during that time, you get a couple inspections, you're good to go. But the cost of insurance has gone up, the cost of VLDs has gone up, and there's less and less brokers that are willing to work with new authorities. So that's the key, right? So, all right, guys, I'm done talking for today. Have a great day. Hopefully you'll have a good week. We'll see you Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to my small channel. I need some more hours on that. I'm sure there's a video from the last 15 years that you can find on there that might suit your fancy. With that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow, and get your numbers in order, and prove to me that you're going to get through this. So with that being said, peace.